Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Today, gonna be a match between Bisu and Killer here on Polypoid. Top right, it's our Protoss player. It's gonna be Bisu. He is brown today. And on the bottom right, we have Killer, our blue Zerg player. So I know brown versus blue is not optimal for everybody, but the alternative is red for both players, so I apologize for this, but nothing I can do about it. All right, man. So this is another RJB replay sent to me from RJB. And Kakaru flying into Bisu's base. He is not a snitch. He'll not be relaying that to Killer. And a hallucinated Kakaru. It's gonna disappear right now. I'm not entirely sure what the point of that is, but... So Bisu scouting the correct direction in a PvZ spells doom for his Zerg opponent. I think the win rate for Bisu when scouting correctly first time in a PvZ is like 90% on my channel. He just throws down a gateway, maybe another gateway. Zealot pressures the Zerg into death. So blocking the hatch here with the probe. Worker battles. And... the drone wins! The drone wins from Killer. Wow. Okay. So he threw down a spawning pool because he didn't think he would win that battle, but he did. And, a Nexus first here from Bisu. Into Forge. Alright, so it's a pretty darn interesting match already. Pool first, forced by Bisu. And then into a Nexus first, when he lost the worker battle. Which, you know, fair enough. Nexus first versus a hatch first Zerg is not super risky. So, Bisu knows what he's doing. Was that trying to block the probe? Were you trying to block the probe, little drone? I feel like you were. But I'm not entirely sure what there is to see here. Doom, 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 doom. Third hatch at 2 minutes and 50 seconds here from Killer. Forlings popping out and then taking your gas. Yeah, I guess maybe he was trying to block the probe so that he would not see that there was no gas, because that's a pretty good tell that you're going for a quick third base. So, So both players know exactly what the other player is doing at this point, which is, you know, pretty much the case in professional Brood War. At least, you know, for the first 3 minutes or so. And now is when Zerg cannot easily scout the Protoss. So, Cybernetics Core. Out of the range from Terry the Overlord's sight. No big deal, Terry. It's okay. You're still doing your job. Just, you know, let Killer know what comes out, right? What comes out of Bisu's base, which could be a Zealot. But we will see indeed. Anyway, hit that like button if you're excited for a PvZ featuring Bisu. I feel like I haven't had a PvZ in a while. It's kind of just a lot of PvTs for whatever reason on the channel, which is weird for me, but PvT fans are super happy about it. They're like, heck yes. Let's get some more PvTs out here. Falcon cast like one of those, I don't know, 2 times a month normally. Not my favorite matchup, but you know, they've been good. Maybe I'll have to get more of those into the rotation. I just like TVZs and ZVPs better personally, as, you know, just as a StarCraft fan, but you can't like all of the matchups equally. I don't think that's how that works. Going for Hydralisk movement upgrade, which indicates we want to be aggressive with Hydralisks, but it's not a 2-base Hydra bust, because we have the third base, obviously, and we're making some drones here. So this is just safety Hydras, I guess, and the speed upgrade is to deal with the super fast Corsairs that we expect to come this way, because you know what? It's a PvZ, and it's Bisu, and if he doesn't open Corsairs, maybe because, I don't know, maybe it's an imposter. Maybe someone has taken Bisu's body. Oh no, Terry! Terry, no, Terry. We miss you, Terry. Come back to us, Terry. He will. He'll come back in the next game. Everything's fine. Everything's totally 100% okay. Forge on the way for them upgrades. Maybe some, like, +1 Zealot Corsair shenanigans would be neat. Macro hatch at the natural base here from Killer. Love that stuff. Bisu's APM is at 400, which is nutso. And yeah, Corsair production happening. +1 attack coming in. Citadel of Adune getting started here too. So whether that's for DTs or just for speed for Zealots, we'll have to see. What does Bisu want to do here? Because everything is completely in the dark for Killer. He doesn't know what this is. He doesn't know what's coming whatsoever. I guess he knows there's a Dragoon out because it killed Terry. So, I don't know. Is this even pressure? Like, not really, because suddenly there's 5 Hydras coming. So, yeah, back up. Back up. I know you have a couple Zealots here, but they don't have speed yet. They don't have +1 attack. Defensive cannons, panic cannons, throw them up. Ah! Is it a Zealot bust? I don't know, but that cannon's going to die. So that cannon dies, but a couple more Zealots show up. This is some definite aggression from Killer. He's making more and more Hydras. With the speed upgrade, you can actually micro better against Zealots too, so I guess that's part of the play. You want to have speed and you want to have range, but if you can't have both, speed's not a bad one to go with first. Ooh, another Hydra goes down, but are there enough? The defensive panic cannons are coming up now. Probes are forced to come out to try to stay alive. Really, focusing down a gateway is an interesting play. I mean, I maybe would have gone for the Forge instead, but whatever. This Hydra pressure is pretty real. He's waiting. Oh, that range upgrade does finish. He's trying to get out a range where he can hit. Trying to find where he can attack stuff without getting hit by these cannons, and he does find the range quite nicely. And, nope, now there's a cannon. So the Forge doesn't die. This cannon's saving the day here for Bisu. Getting upgrades canceled totally sucks. More cannons, yo. Okay, so Killer kind of moving back into drone production here. There you go. Fires up 3 of them at a time. Gets a lair, puts a little bit of fear of Zerg into Bisu, but not a ton. He's not committing here. This is not a total, a total everything, let's all in Bisu and try to beat him in the first 7 minutes play. So this Corsair is a single kill, but has a ton of damage to it too, and actually just decides to go home. Doesn't try to go for this Overlord after all, for whatever reason. I guess, there wasn't anything actively stopping the Corsair from killing this, so whatever, I suppose, but... These are 2 more macro hatches. Dude, this is a ton of macro hatch out of Killer. Like, maybe too much macro hatch? Is that a thing that happens? Yeah. If you have, like, 17 macro hatches, that's way too many. So there's got to be a number here. I don't know. Killer's a billion times better at StarCraft than I am. So for me to be like, you're making too many macro hatches seems weird. But I've just never seen another Zerg player go for this many macro hatches off of 3 base. Right? So what he's got? He's got... 3. He has 3 macro hatches on 3 bases. Which feels like a lot. We're going Lurker Aspect. We're going for Aspire. Storm's on the way. Yeah, this is where things get dicey. Leg enhancements coming in too from the Protoss for the Zerg is when you've got speed lots and Storm coming at you. It's just like, ugh. The Lurkers are good, but the Lurkers aren't that good, especially if you don't have Dark Swarm for them yet. And I don't see any indication of getting a Queen's Nest for that Hive upgrade for the Dark Swarm. So this is the ouch time, as Jar Jar Binks would say, for the Zerg player. Another Overlord here to see what's up, and sees, okay, perfect scout. Sees a million speed lots coming. They got +1 attack. They're going to be very mean. And if you don't have Lurkers to handle this and some really good SimCity, you can just die here. So third base is trying to SimCity this sucker up, throwing up. Creep colony there to try to defend. You have to defend the third base and the natural base equally because, well, the Zealots can choose to go to either one because they're very fast. See, they poke in the natural. Then they come into the third in the high ground positioning. You know what? Maybe you don't need incredible high ground. Or incredible SimCity if you have the high ground, right? Maybe you just kind of choke this off, which is SimCity. But high ground mass Hydra is not too bad against this, I suppose. These guys are just kind of sharking around, maybe trying to threaten a counterattack or pick off some High Templar that are joining the party here too, because here comes the Protoss again. Ah, yes. Yep, trying to get the... Got one of the High Templar. Okay. Okay, lost a couple Hydras in the process, and then this has cut the High Templar count in half for this attack. So we're going to get 1 Storm. That's a beautiful Storm. Only 1 Hydra dies. Does bruise up a couple of them, and then that High Templar goes down. Killer! Sniping High Templar with Hydras. Not an easy feat, and he's kind of pulling it off here. These Hydras are dead because Speed Zealots with +1 attack and +1 armor are just like Yep. At 10 minutes, the Hydras hate that stuff. They don't have any upgrades yet. They're working on missile attack and Carapace upgrade. We're going for singularity charge for the Dragoons because we know there's Lurker tech out. So the counterattack is real. Lurker's going to try to push on in here, see what they can do. But also, the Zealots are coming for the backstab. Oh no, there's only one sunk in here at the third base. No, the natural base is under attack too. That's not as big of a problem. The third base is really under attack. But you know, this Lurker sunken combo is actually kind of forcing Bisu to rethink his life decisions, and he just pulls out. Okay, he gone, ladies and gentlemen. Top left base, Bisu kind of naked expanding here for a third. Interesting, gutsy choice to try to make sure, well, try to keep the Zerg player completely in the dark from it, because he's checked this 12 o'clock, and I think he's been fairly checking this right side base too. And then Bisu's just like top left, baby. I guess there are some Zealots generally guarding this area. But what are these Lurkers doing here? Oh, they're just trying to keep, that's it. So we're just trying to expand down here. Bisu, or Killer is, and kind of zoning out the Zealots in the process. Fair. Queen's Nest now coming in, so Darkstorm is not too far away. Zerg fans, don't worry about it. Oh, and expanding to this high ground minerals only position is Bisu. Oh, he canceled all this. Did he really? Maybe he felt like he couldn't, I guess he felt like he couldn't hold it with the Lurkers coming this way, and then there wasn't any detection in this corner of the map for Bisu, so like, okay, I get it. He saw this coming, right? He saw the future. He saw a ton of Hydras and Lurkers showing up. Okay, but really, come up the ramp, guys. Come on. Killer micro a little bit. He's just kind of A-moved these Hydras up. They'll get there eventually. I wonder if we're going to find this probe or not. Is Killer going to find this probe? So Bisu goes for the inferior minerals only base here, but he wants to make a lot of Zealots anyway. Oh, and he's expanding to this 3 o'clock spot too. Okay, all right. Zerglings really want to kill High Templar. They are going to kill none. Nice control. Beautiful control from Bisu. Are we surprised by this? No, we are not. Ooh, the Hydras don't find the sneaky probe down here in the top left corner. Trying to expand to a 4th base, actually 5th base, because this high ground minerals only base exists for Killer when I was away. He's going for that hive tech. It's almost done. Both players macroing up pretty darn effectively here. And so far, who's ahead? I don't know. I mean, Killer's at 143 to 137 supply, which is pretty impressive in 12 minutes in his EVP versus Bisu. So his numbers are looking good. But I don't know, without the Darkstorm or without the Plague, I don't think he can win the game at this stage. We have the High Templar, the Zealots, the Dragoons. Like, everything is scary. He's got to know about this by now, doesn't he? Oh, yeah. The Lings are like, bring it. Ling Hydra versus Zealots is so good. I mean, the Lings don't have attack upgrades, but they don't have Adrenal either because that's on the way. So they don't really want to fight Zealots yet. Once they have 3 attack and Adrenal, then the Zealots are like, okay, Uncle, please don't attack us. Bottom left base now coming up from Killer, so he's getting his own 5th. Where, the 12 o'clock not happening? Dude. I keep thinking Bisu's going to expand up there, but he's just not. These Hydras are running for their lives. These are not Dropper Lords. They're just, you know, Vision Lords at this stage. And this is the window, right? This is where Bisu says, okay, Defiler tech is not here yet. It's very close to being here, but the sooner you can attack and kill something without having to deal with Darkstorm or Plague is a better thing. But the counterattack from Killer is massive. Dude, these High Templar. Yep, force him into an Archon. That's definitely a win for Killer. Lings with their Adrenal jumping on these cannons. Not even fair. And then forcing the army back to deal with this. Bisu had some plans there. He was planning to attack to the south and just had to come back home and deal with this counterattack, which really wasn't a lot from Killer. Killer's playing this very well. 12 o'clock base now getting expanded into, but Overlord scouts that, which totally sucks for Bisu. And this probe is still alive. I don't know where these Hydras went. Maybe they came into this attack. Maybe they joined into that group. Didn't feel like sitting in the top left forever and ever. Accidental flank attack. Okay, so these Lings are like, you know, we don't have any attack upgrades, but we have Adrenal. So we're just going to throw ourselves into the meat grinder and die. But then on the other side, here comes Killer. Heading up to the north. He is completely going after this minerals on the expansion and dragging Bisu back again. I think Bisu was going to go kill that bottom left, but he's forced back home by this counter. The cannons aren't doing much to save the day. This Nexus is going to die. Not with Adrenal Glands, with +1 attack hitting that. Nope, Nexus down. And sure, he's going to shove the Zerg player away here. This army is not going to completely win the game at this point. But Killer is making some beautiful, masterful counterattacks that are forcing Bisu to go home, buying Killer the time that he needs to get Consume done so he can get Dark Swarm up and change the face of this game. Because getting up this ramp would not be easy for Bisu with what he had, but without Dark Swarm, it's very doable. And in the hands of an elite Protoss player, the elite Protoss player, it's going to go fairly well. This 12 o'clock living, I think Killer needs to do something about that or this, and this kind of seems like the better option, doesn't it? Especially with a little Dark Swarm play, that could be disgustingly effective. Is there a lurker just randomly hanging out somewhere? This is a great ZVP. Thanks again, RJB. Check him out at RJB TV on the YouTube machine. If you search RJB StarCraft, you'll find him. That's probably the best way to do it these days. So just straight up engagement, no spellcasting. There's the Dark Swarms. There's the Psionic Storms. I say no spellcasting, and then the spellcasting all kicks in quite nicely. Ah, you thought you were protected with under your bugs. No, Psionic Storm does not care for your bugs. We'll just blow right through them. Plague's on the way, because Killer is a smart Zerg player. He's not dumb. We've seen ZVPs where Zergs are like, oh, I don't need Plague versus Protoss. I'll be fine. Oh, man. This high ground mineral is only positioned by Bisu, who's been under assault pretty darn consistently since it came up. But, hang on. Hang on. Oh, they're trying to focus down the Nexus, the Lings. Not going to get it. Not going to get it, though. It's a lot of Zerg blood on the ground to try to kill a base that didn't actually die. That's why the guaranteed damage is what you got to be going for there. So 176 to 145 supply. Bisu is up. He's looking strong. He's got Dragoons, Zealots, Archons, and High Templar, which is exactly what you want in this situation. He's got every little piece to deal with what we are seeing from Healer, which is very standard too. Ling Hydra, Dark Swarm, Lurker. Lings really want to kill these High Templar, but man, beautiful micro. It's hard to micro. Oh, that's a sick play, though. Oh, it was a sick play. Oh, the Storm defense, but the Nexus goes down. The Nexus goes down for the second time today. Another base coming up from Killer. This is a fantastic ZVP. I mean, this is some beautiful ZVP. And look, I've been casting some of the older games on the channel recently from like 2003, even far back as 2001. And some of the comments I get are like, these guys suck. And it's like, yes, because everybody sucked back then, because the game was new. Nobody had 10 years of StarCraft under their belt. So when you're watching the newer games, think of how far the players have come since 2020 or 2001, right? That's what you need to be aware of when you're watching these games, is this sick play did not exist back in 2003. The best players in the world were not playing this well. They weren't. Plague Defiler pays for it. Ends up plaguing some Zealots, which is nice. But the Rampage by Bisu is looking really good here. He's going to try to sneak on into this third base and doesn't like the fact there's... Okay, backing out, whatever. Sure. And I like that Bisu's not getting caught up in any one thing. It's not all Zealots. It's not all Archons. It's not all Dragoons. Right? It's not all High Templar. He's got all the different pieces in here. The Archons do pretty well as support units against the Lings. The Hydras do really well against the Archons. The Lurkers do really well against the Zealots, as long as they're not getting directly attacked. Like, it's just this beautiful chess match happening right now. How many of each unit do I need to make? Because Zealot Archon is pretty fantastic against the Hydras, but not as good against just Mass Ling, which is where the High Templar come in. I mean, it's just, it's good. It's really, 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 really good stuff here. More Defilers coming in. Killer has not lost a base yet, which is why he's not dead. I kind of feel like Bisu can weather losing a couple of bases and just replanting them, which is, you know, normal. But once a Zerg player starts losing a base, Storm Drop, left side. Storm Drop again. Killer, you know that happened. Get out of there. Okay, that was game-changing. That was a game-changing play from Bisu for sure. Knocks the worker count down to 72, which, by golly, there were a lot of workers from Killer there. Plagues on everything, but also all the Zergs die. Every single Protoss unit here is plagued, but also the Defilers are not making out of this battle alive. There's so much strawberry jam on the Protoss units in the middle of the map here. So that, I would feel worse about Killer's position here, except for the fact that everything is plagued right now. Oh, this top left, this is not happening. This top left base is not happening. These Lings have +2/+2 and Adrenal. They are little machines of death here. Yeah, he just cancels. He's just like, nope. This base is not happening. Are these Lings going to find this probe? This probe has been up in the top left for 10 minutes. And Killer has not discovered it. Dude, all of a sudden, Lurker Trap! Ah! The Archons don't care about your Plague, but, you know, every little bit of damage helps, I guess. Dude, okay, scrappy battle right now. This is not maxed out armies, although Killer's suddenly at 190. All of a sudden, 190 to 154. The Plague is helping so much here. Is Killer in position to win this game now? Dude, this probe is still alive. Maybe. Maybe he is. So we got some Scourge up to deal with future drops and a bunch of Hydras to make sure that little Storm drop cuteness never happens again to Killer. And, okay, so now this probe dies. This probe has been alive for far too long with really only a Zealot for escort. So that's not going to work out for you, is it? No. But yeah, hit the like button if you enjoy this one. Also, you can check out merch at falconpaladin.store. You can support the channel at patreon.com/falconpaladin. And if you want to support the channel just directly through YouTube, there's a join button down below you can click as well. If you don't support Patreon, you don't like it, some people don't. Anyway, all right, that was enough of a downtime. Bisu still scary. Still got 3/2/3 upgrades on his gateway units, which is better than the 2/3 that the Zerg player's rolling with. The Hydras are at 3/3. So, I mean, Killer's upgrades are fantastic, but this attack on this third base again. We haven't really seen a Dark Swarm Ling attack on these cannons, dude. Storm is so good. If Storm didn't exist, Killer wins this game like 10 minutes ago. He just does. Well, maybe not 10. At least 5 minutes ago. Bisu wins this game. Because of the Storm, right? It's a good spellcasting, good unit. Attack down this left side. This is not a humongous, terrifying Protoss army. Really feels like something that Killer should be able to handle. Storm is really good. The Lurkers are getting picked out by Zealots because they can do that. The Storm drop, though! It's not even a drop. It's just storming. Just wandering into the base and storming it up. Hydras come in the backside trying to win the day here. Plagues are getting tossed down. Suddenly, there's only some High Templar and like a Zealot remaining who has 7 kills, which is great. Oh my gosh, the Drone Massacre. The Drone Massacre is so strong during this attack. So that was not only, it didn't kill a base, but it wiped out a ton of Zerg units, including drones, knocking Killer down to 58 workers, which is not exactly where he wants to be. He's replacing them. He's replacing the drones with what he can. Lings, there you go. Lings with the upgrades against these Zealots. Yeah, he's just... Zealots have their time in the sun, but by the time the 23-minute mark rolls around, it's gone. Zealots really lose their effectiveness against Lings at this point when they've got their Adrenal and the 3/3 and they're full cracklings and they're just incredible stuff here. The Zealot attack on these spread out Lurkers is... Can't storm any more than one of these. A DT tries to make stuff happen, but guess what? There's an Overlord here. So good luck there. 12 Lurkers on the way. 186 to 166 supply from Killer. He's recovered from losing those drones. He's back up to 64 workers. He's just pumping units, maxing out on Hydras, Lings, Lurkers. Bisu is a bit at a loss here. He hasn't been able to expand for some time. Killer's taking a 11 o'clock base right now. These Zealots are just getting no work done whatsoever. I say that, there's a lot of Zerg blood on the ground, but whatevs. And this is Bisu kind of backed into a corner. I don't think he likes what he sees here, but he's got to defend. The Storms are going to keep him alive for some time here. The Plagues are so well placed from Bisu, though. Insanely well placed here from Bisu. Ay caramba. Oh, that's not a base. I thought this was a base coming up. It kind of looked, well, yeah, if you look closer on the minimap, it does not look like that. So Lurker Trap left side has not been broken out. Bisu can't really head south because of all of the Lurkers. Is this a time to call for Reavers, maybe? Maybe Bisu should have gotten some Reavers in here to deal with all this Lurker shenaniganry. Because that's your GG. Bisu taps out and Killer is your winner. The Lurker contains are too strong, and Killer takes it in 24 minutes. Absolutely insane play there from Killer. It's got 3. How many lurkers is this? This is at least, so it's 10. It's got 10 lurkers over here. And then over on this bottom side, he's got another 6. Wow. And again, the plagues, just the game changers here for sure. Plagues are where it's at. If you're struggling against Protoss, try to get up to plagues and throw those down and see how much easier the battles are. Yeah, Dark Swarm was there, sure, but it was really plagues that won it today. It was a large zealot contingent, so that makes sense, right? You're going to be plaguing zealots. If it's like a ton of dragoons, Dark Swarm's going to be so much better. So Killer has got both options. He made the right choice in each battle when he needed to. Played it so well. Takes down the King Bisu and just really amazing back and forth ZVP. So few bases died. That is a rarity in like a 24-minute macro ZVP. Where this Nexus died, right? This Nexus died twice. And I think that's it. I don't think this 12 o'clock from Bisu ever died. I don't think this 3 o'clock ever died. I mean, this top left never happened for Bisu, and he did cancel a Nexus there, so does that count? Not really. But no Zerg bases died here either. So, I mean, as a Protoss, if you're an elite pro PvZ and you kill 0 hatcheries for your opponent, you're probably going to be a sad Protoss in 24 minutes, right? I mean, some of the attacks were amazing. The Storm Drop was great down this left side, and the coming back and killing more drones at this bottom left corner base was great. But the hatcheries didn't die, and it's the hatcheries dying that really slows down the Zerg economy and really makes them unable to go from 160 to 190 supply instantly, right? Right, that's how that works. And the okay, we got to count the macro hatches apparently, because there is 1, 2 at the natural, 3, 4 at the third, and then 5 down in this bottom left-hand corner. He's got 5 macro hatches. I love it. I love that he has 5 macro hatches. It really helps when, as the aforementioned, going from 160 to 190 supply is happening. Incredible. Truly incredible stuff here from Killer. I mean, my esteem of Killer must be raised. Or, you know, Bisu's kind of getting old. Like, it's not necessarily polite to say it that, but it's true. Like, our heroes are getting older, and they're getting slower, and some of this might just be Bisu kind of struggling a little bit with getting a little bit slower as he gets older. I don't know. As someone who's getting older with him, I can empathize. Anyway. Woo, 215,000 points from Bisu, 226 from Killer. Wow. Outproduced the Protoss 8, 60 to 300. The kill death ratio here is a 6 to 2 from Bisu. Holy smokes. But if you outproduce 8 to 3, yeah, the numbers, it makes sense. They make sense for Killer to win this thing. And I mean, it's simplistic to say this units tab is why Killer won. It was spell casting, it was micro, it was decision making, it was scouting, right? It was decision making, when to counterattack, when to defend. Like, all that stuff comes into play. You can't just go up, like, if I made 869 units versus Bisu's 306, he'd still beat me. He would, because my spellcasting would be suck, and I wouldn't be counterattacking in smart times, and I'd throw away entire armies and get nothing done, right? And his storms would kill everything. So it's not the whole story, but it's a really important part of it. Buildings raised 18 by, wow, 18 to 3 is a big number in a ZVP. And then total spent 69,000 for Killer, 58,000 for Bisu. So, yeah, outspend, outproduce, as a Zerg player, win. Again, simplistic, but it's a big part of it. So, very, very good. Like, a really excellent ZVP from both players, I feel like. Thanks again to RJV for sending it in. And that's going to be it from me. So, this has been Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Remastered. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe. If you like what you saw and what you heard today, you can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.